Hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Laura, for those of you that do not know, and today's video is another really exciting romance recommendations video. If you guys missed my last video, I did a whole video dedicated to good girl, bad boy romance recs, and it got a lot of good feedback from you guys. You guys seem to like it, but the #1 request following that video was asking if I could do a recommendations video for bad girl, good boy. I feel like the bad girl trope is a lot less common. However, I feel like it's very sought after. Like, people always ask me for recommendations for the bad girl with the good boy, or even just the bad girl with the bad boy. Like, we don't see that a lot. I feel like the good girl is kind of like mainstream when it comes to romance, if that makes sense. So I constantly get asked for recommendations like these, and I do have quite a few on my list that I'm absolutely obsessed with that I think you guys will really enjoy. So today I'm going to be sharing with you guys some of my favorite bad girl, good boy books, but also some bad girl and bad boy books because you guys have asked for those too. But basically, if you're looking for like a badass heroine character lead in a romance book, this is the video for you guys. So I'm gonna get started. The first book on my list is the one that I talk about the most and probably have recommended to you if you've asked me for a rec like this, and that is Lost and Found by Nicole Williams. Lost and Found is also a series. There are 5 books, 3 of them pertaining to the couple in the initial book. So this first book follows a girl who is just graduated high school and she plans to go to art school in the fall. However, her mother is like completely fed up with her bad behavior. She's always acting out, always doing things she shouldn't be doing. So her mother sends her away to live with her best friend who owns a farm and has a family, and they run it. And so she goes to this farm in Montana and lives with the family and works on the farm, and there's obviously a boy there named Jesse, and he's the son of the family, and he's like super sweet, really gentleman-like, like the cutest guy ever. And she's kind of like this badass girl, so the contrast there is very apparent, and it's just like completely like role reversal of like your typical good girl bad boy story. So if you really are into that, this book is going to be for you. I promise. It's so good. It's one of my all-time favorites. Also, the series is really good as a whole as well. You can just read the first book or you can continue, it really doesn't matter, but I highly recommend this book. Another book that I absolutely love and is a part of a series is Misbehaving by ABBI Glines. This is a book that is in the Seabreeze series. I think it's book 6. But this one follows a girl who is definitely from the wrong side of the tracks, and she finds herself falling for this really rich guy who is new in town. I don't want to spoil any of the series because it is, again, a part of a series. If you're not planning on reading all of the books in the Seabreeze series and you just want to read this one, go for it. You can totally read it on its own. However, if this is a series that you've wanted to read for a while, I would recommend reading it in order. All of the other books in the series are basically good girl, bad boy books. So if you're into that as well, I would just read the whole series. They're super fast paced, quick, short, like they're really like you fly through them. At least I did. So I highly recommend all of them, but Misbehaving is the one with the bad girl, and I really love it. I definitely recommend it, and yeah, you can read it on its own if you want to, so check that one out. The next book is also a part of a series. I didn't realize that like literally every book I'm recommending is a part of a series. However, you can read all of these books on their own if you wish. So the next book on my list is Lessons in Corruption, which is a part of the Fallen Men series by Gianna Darling. Sorry, lots of words. This is the 3rd book. There's going to be more in the series, but it's currently like the final book, 3rd of 3rd at least. And so this book follows a girl whose family is a part of this like really big motorcycle biker gang. This main character has like a really hard exterior but is super sweet on the inside, which I think you'll find with a lot of these female leads in a lot of these books. But I particularly really like this girl. She falls for a boy who is very unconventional for her to fall for, as her family comes from a motorcycle gang and he's a police officer, so it's super like unconventional, their romance, but they have a really long past together, and it kind of explores that past, and I just really loved this book. It was so great. I'm a fan of the whole series. I really love Gianna Darling's writing, and I think you'll like this one. I recommend the whole series. However, you can just read book 3 if this is the trope you're looking for. The next book is my last bad girl, good boy book, and it is the 5th book in a series. So again, I'm really sorry with the series, but you can read it on its own. The series is called the Blindfold Club series, and this book is called 3 Guilty Pleasures. The series follows a group of girls who work at this like illegal prostitution place, I guess is what you would call it. I don't know. They're all sex workers basically. And they live like pretty normal lives, but they work at this illegal place that's for sex workers, and people can go there and like, it's like they put on a facade that gets a wine company, but it's like not. It's kind of confusing, but if you read the book, it'll make a lot more sense. But I really love the contrast between these two characters because they both kind of have like their rugged, rough side, but also their really sweet side. Obviously this girl, she's a sex worker. She works at this place, but she also is a ballerina and a student and just like has a lot of like really amazing things going on about her. The guy is super sweet and he plays, I think, the violin, like I don't know, but they end up pairing up, her dancing, him playing music for her, and she's scared to like tell him about her past and what she does, and the story kind of progresses from there. But this whole series I just flew through. It's super fast-paced and fun, and if you're just looking for something to like get a series under your belt, you want to read something kind of crazy, I really recommend it. It's super fun. But yes, this 5th book is definitely exploring that dynamic. Some of the other books as well, but just check out the whole series or just read book 5. So yes. Okay, the next 4 recommendations are books that are for bad girls and then bad-ish boys, not good boys. Like they're not necessarily bad boys, but they're not like good, if that makes sense. The first book is Paper Princess by Erin Watt. This is a series, haha, of course it is. This book follows a girl who has a super tainted and troubled past. She grew up in a broken family. Her father was never in the picture. Her mother ends up passing away while she's in high school, and so she ends up working at a strip club to try and make ends meet without telling people about her mother's passing and still being able to go to school. But one day this man shows up at the strip club while she's working and demands that she come with him, and he's like, I'm your father's best friend, like we were best friends back in the day, like come live with me, I have money, I can provide for you. And she goes and lives with this man, not that she wants to, but he kind of like forces her. This man has a bunch of sons that live at the house with him basically, and they all kind of don't like her because they're like, why is this girl like living with us, like what's going on with that? But eventually one of the guys does take a liking to her, and you'll see the progression of that through the books, through the series. You can just read the first book, but I think it ends on a cliffhanger, so you'll probably want all of them. But this is a really fun series. I really loved reading it, and again, it's one of those really crazy books that you never know what's going to happen next, and I love books like that with crazy plot twists. So if you're into that, highly recommend. Next book is The Unrequited by Saffron Kent. This is a book that I've actually talked about a decent amount on my channel, and it is about a student-teacher relationship between a girl and her poetry professor, and I just feel like this girl has like a really crazy side. This man has like a full-fledged family, and this girl is like kind of insane when it comes to him, and she's kind of obsessed with him in a weird way, and I just feel like she's kind of crazy. Like I love her, but I feel like she's kind of crazy, and so I love the dynamic between these two, and I just loved the book in general. I don't know what it is. I'm not usually super into like student-teacher books. It's really not my favorite trope, but I just really happened to like this one, and I loved the main character, so I highly recommend it. Okay, next book is also from an ABBI GLINES series, and that is the Rosemary Beach series, and the last book is called Up in Flames. It's book 13, which sounds insane, but this book follows a character that I basically hated throughout the whole series. I was like, she's so mean, she's so annoying, I hate her, she's ruining all these other people's lives. But you get to her book, and I loved it. I don't know what it was about the book, but I just personally really enjoyed it, and I know there's a lot of mixed feelings on this book. If you've read the whole series, I'd love to know what you think about Nanette. That's the girl in this book. But yeah, Nanette, I loved her character in this final book, and she's definitely crazy bad girl type, and I just loved the dynamic between her and the male character who's the love interest. I just feel like he really put her in her place because she's so insane and crazy, and he was like, no, like we're not doing that. I'm obsessed with it. I love this book so much, and I highly recommend it. Again, you can read the whole Rosemary Beach series, or you could just pick up this book. It really doesn't matter. However, I do recommend the whole series because I love it and I think it's amazing, but this is the final book, so go ahead and read that if you're only interested in that, but I would read the whole series just because it's really good. Okay, the final recommendation I have is for Bad Intentions by Charlie Rose. I mentioned Bad Habit in my last video, which was like a bad boy, good girl book, but this one is kind of like bad girl and bad boy, and it follows a character that you kind of meet in the first book, not really, but he's this guy that works at a tattoo shop, and this girl just moved into town with her brother, and they have like a really troubled past, her and her brother. Her brother also has his own book, which I really like, so you could read both of them, but this girl specifically just has like a horrible past and she's trying to get away from it. She ends up working at this tattoo shop with the guy and their relationship kind of stems from there. I personally really love this book. I like it more than I like Bad Habit, if I'm being completely honest, so if you've only read Bad Habit, I really recommend reading this one or just picking up this one if this is what you're interested in. But yeah, I didn't realize that every single book I talked about in this video is from a series, but I promise you can just read it if you don't want to read the rest of the series and be done with it. It's totally fine to do that. But yeah, those are my recommendations for bad girl slash good boy slash sometimes bad boy books. If you guys have any more recommendations for this trope, definitely leave it in a comment down below, because I know people are always looking for more and more recs. Also, let me know if any of these books sparked your interest, if you're going to be picking any of them up soon. I would love to hear about that. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video overall. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe to my channel down below. You can also follow me on all of my social medias linked down below. I'm basically at lovelylikelaura on everything. But yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time for some new book recommendations. Bye!